I'm not a Predator fan at all. I did like Predator 2, mainly because it had a black lead everyman in Danny Glover, which was pretty rare to see in the early 90s. But I decided, at any rate, to check out Predator Badlands. I'm not sure why. Maybe I wanted to give it another shot. I don't know. Those Predator versus Alien movies, that didn't help at all. But I went to see it. Maybe because I saw a couple good YouTube reviews. Maybe because this Predator was a youngster looking to prove himself, which to me seemed like an interesting take on this kind of stale franchise. Stale in my opinion. I know we got a lot of buzz with that Netflix Prey movie, I believe, but that didn't do anything for me either. But I will say this movie is not what I expected, and seeing as how I was giving this franchise a chance, I'm not sure if it's the movie I wanted. So the movie starts off pretty damn good as it establishes the main character of Dek, the Yautja. Yes, apparently that's the official name of this race. I'm sure you Predator fans already knew that. This was the first time I'd heard about it. But the Yautja who is shunned by his clan for being weak, that's Dek. He is ostracized, and the film makes that clear with a pretty badass fight scene between Dek and his older brother. This scene did a couple things for me. It got me hyped because it really is a well-done fight scene. And it instantly had me sympathetic for Dek after his father mercilessly derides him for being weak and deserving to be killed. Unbelievably, through all the alien makeup, actor Demetrius Schuster Kolomatangi is able to convincingly emote and make me feel sympathy for this character. And to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this trend in the last few years of turning villains into quasi-heroes. We've seen it before with Mystique in the X-Men franchise, with Venom, Kraven, and that's what they do here as well. And soon after, when Dek declares to redeem himself in the eyes of his clan by going to the deadliest planet in the Predator universe, I guess, it's called Jenna, not a planet name that sounds that deadly. He goes to this planet to claim a trophy kill on the most deadly living being or organism on this planet. But right after he lands, not too soon after, he meets Thea, a stranded synthetic on the planet played by Elle Fanning, who kind of ruins the dynamic up to that point, a dynamic that I was digging. She comes off as a happy, cheery weekend soccer mom, which was a little jarring to me.
Well, good luck with your journey.
Then you add this little creature that they run into. I'm not going to give anything away, but they run into this little creature with the wide Disney eyes. And this creature is designed to suck all the parents bringing their kids to this PG-13 Predator movie into buying that toy merchandise. And at that point, I was kind of on my way to tapping out. But then something interesting happened, and I'm still not sure how I feel about it. And this is a minor spoiler. It turns out that Thea is a synth created by Weyland Yutani. Yes, that Weyland Yutani from the Alien franchise, which I guess means that the Predator and Alien franchises are in the same universe. I ask all of you Predator fans, has that always been a thing? I know about the Alien v Predator movies in the mid-2000s, but I didn't think those were canon. Just like an alternate universe what-if type of gimmick. Well, apparently not. And I generally hate when things have to be linked together, tied together, for no real reason, other than it be cool. Kind of like the way I felt when Luke and Leia all of a sudden had to be related. Qstorm and the Black Panther had to have a relationship, because they're both black, I guess, and they're both character leads in the comics. I don't know. But having said all that, I have to admit, despite all the two-dimensional cardboard-thin characters, and the whole movie is populated with two-dimensional characters, I really had fun with this movie. Once I turned my brain off, I settled into it and found myself having a good time. And it's true. The characters are all very cardboard. Most of all, the character of Tessa, who's also played by Elle Fanning as the twin synth sister to Thea, who runs the department, the Weyland Yutani department on this planet, apparently. But don't get it twisted. Dek, the main Predator, the main character, is a character I was totally invested in. He was the only real dimensional character in this movie, and the actor did a great job. I was expecting this movie to be a survival narrative, kind of like all the other ones were, except that it was usually the predator hunting humans, and it was a survival narrative for the humans. But in this movie, it's a survival narrative for the predator, for Dec. And this whole narrative does take us into very familiar territory that we've seen countless numbers of times in the Alien movies. You've seen it all before. However, Dec, as portrayed by Koloa Matangi, elevates the material. This is one case where I was all in on making a typically villainous killing machine into a fully fleshed out character that I could buy into. I'd gladly pay to see a follow-up sequel with this Predator. I do have to say that this is one of the most R-rated PG-13 movies I've ever seen. Heads are severed, spines are ripped, things are sliced in half, heads are skewered and stabbed. I guess the producers were like, as long as the blood ain't red, we good. Moms will bring their kids to see this movie. But it is a great movie, I have to say. Not much in story, not much in character, except for Dec, the main character. Think of it like I can't stand the Fast and Furious franchise, but I went to see the Fast and Furious film, the one where Paul Walker passed away. I think that was FF5. And I had a hell of a good time with that. I didn't like any of the Bad Boy movies, but I loved the last one. It was just as stupid as all of them. But I don't know, it was fun. It was just fun. And that's the same way I feel about this movie. I'm giving this movie 3 out of 5 reels. All right, guys, there's my review. Go check it out. And as always, subscribe, like, share this video. Do me a favor. Let all your friends know that I exist, okay? And I will see you at the next review. All right, guys, take care.